Good afternoon and welcome to this afternoon breaking news broadcast and stream. I would like to normally do this when there are significant developments. And this morning I had a broadcast where I explained what was happening in the CCC, and the situation has turned to an even worse position this afternoon. Things have gotten worse. The confusion within the CCC has gone to the extent that now it is really impossible to tell what is going on. So there is a number of press conferences that are going to be held today, which are going to be broadcast. But one that has already been broadcast is by Promise Mkwananzi. And Promise Mkwananzi has added to the confusion in the CCC by announcing Timba as the new president of the CCC. And he says the press conference that was held yesterday by Mafume is null and void. To top it up, you remember that Promise Mkwananzi had written to Parliament saying that he's the only person who can communicate to Parliament and signing as the acting president of the CCC. So what this means is that Parliament now has two letters, the one that declares Mkwananzi as the vice president, and Timba is acting president, but in Parliament he is not the acting president. Currently, Promise Mkwananzi is the acting president in Parliament. That is what Parliament knows. The channel of communication in Parliament is with Promise Mkwananzi. And I will let you know why this is important. Why this is important is that while publicly giving Timba the presidency, Mkwananzi is actually the acting president of the CCC, which is crazy. And you understand as time goes on what is going on. There are two vice presidents right now on the CCC, or in fact acting presidents right now in the CCC. The one that is known in Parliament, which is Mkwananzi, and the one that has been announced today by Mkwananzi, which is Timba. So there are two of them. And then there's the announcement that was made by Mafume yesterday that declared a rotational presidency between Ngube, BT, and Karenyi Kore. And I will share with you, and I hope I'll be able to share with you this picture. There is a full list of appointments that were made by Promise Mkwananzi, and I will look for them. Let me look for those documents, and I'll give them to you as I get them. There was a full set of appointments made by Mkwananzi, and these appointments, let me read them out for you, because then it will be easier for me to just read them out for you. The chief whip was Sisto Rizai. The lower house chief whip was Nomatemba Njovu, and deputy chief whip was Shakespeare Amuswa. Then there were local committees, which is Standing Order Committee, Wellington Chikombo, and Honorable Mawodzera. And then higher education, Minenke Gumede, Women's Parliament Kakas, that was Setule Njovu, and Consilia Chinanzwanya, organizer Grace Kwature. Then Parliamentary Legal Committee was Advocate Martin Mureri. International Committee was Prosper Mutsami and Honorable Gladys Chachayo. And then for Africa Caribbean, that's Gladys Chachayo. Then ASECA was Magi Chakabuda. These were the appointments that were made last week as Parliament closed on Thursday. This is what they announced. Now you have Timba being declared as the president of the CCC in the absence of Nelson Chamisa. When asked about Chibaya and Ostalos, Promise was unable to answer. And I want to explain to you why Promise was unable to answer. None of these guys have talked to Chamisa. So Anna Promise and most of the guys, I don't think they've talked to Chamisa. Chamisa is not involved in all the things that are happening now. Anna Timba, they're doing their own thing. It's not Chamisa who is involved there. The press conference or function that was supposed to be held in South Africa, I just talked to Trasnjov this morning. Dubeko Smanda was unable to address that conference, and I think a guy called Morgan Ngube was able to announce there. So people are doing their own things here and there, but Chamisa is not involved in these things, and it's not clear what is the game plan. But I don't think it's Chamisa who is involved here, who is doing all these things. Because as I've said to you all, no one speaks for Nelson Chamisa. There's no person that comes out and says, I'm speaking for Chamisa. Because Chamisa can speak. You all know Chamisa very well. Is there a day that you've ever seen Chamisa stammering, unable to speak? So if you see Chamisa not speaking, that means something's wrong. And if something's wrong, you must default to the original position. And the original position is the last day you saw Chamisa speaking by the funeral of the pastor, when there was that murder in Mavuku. That's where everything needs to go. Everything needs to default back to that day. And what it means is that the people that were operating the CCC, that you know, that were around Chamisa, those are the people that are supposed to operate the CCC. And as I said, the CCC must not be killed. You cannot kill the CCC because you do not know what is happening behind the scenes. You do not know who are the people who are trying to destroy the CCC. And as you can see, no one wants to do a Congress. Among all the people that are being appointed, where have you seen the appointment? Where was the meeting in public? Where was the vote? People are appointing each other without consulting anyone, without going on a public forum. Similarly, if you look at the appointments which were announced by Mafumi, where was the meeting? Who called the meeting? Where were the rest of the people? So one group sits here and make an appointment. Another group sits here and makes an appointment. Chibaya and Ostalos, they go to this place and they make an announcement. And people are just trying to make themselves the ones that are in charge. But the truth is that Chamisa is there. Apologies about that. Chamisa is there. Everyone knows where Chamisa is. If they were honest, everyone would just say, let's hear from Chamisa, let him speak and announce the current position. So now the current position has been announced. The blue movement, the yellow movement, Timba leadership, Mpananzi leadership, Tendai leadership, everyone is just talking. And this is just adding to the confusion. There's no one that has got the real truth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly play for you the clip, then we'll conclude so that I don't get caught by electricity. I'll be back in the evening to analyze the press conference that is going to be held by Mafume this afternoon. I'll be back to look at that. So let's watch what Mpanan said here quickly. It's about a 5 minutes clip.
Let there be no doubt. The party and its membership, represented by the resolutions of the CNA, has given the task of managing internal transitional processes of the party to Senator Jameson Timba, who leads the administration bureau of the party with the representation from all 10 provinces in Zimbabwe. Senator Timba, a senior political leader within the democratic movement in Zimbabwe, carries a collective and technical mandate of running the affairs of the party ahead of President Chamisa's treaties on the next step. In conformity with this mandate, Senator Timba announced a series of key appointments in the party's parliamentary leadership structure, which has been confirmed by the Parliament of Zimbabwe. You can make reference to a statement that announced Clifford Tlatwayo as the leader of the House and other chairs of various committees that were appointed. All party deployees in Parliament are called upon to cooperate and work with the stated leadership in executing the party's legislative agenda and in advancing the interests of the citizens. Any acts of insubordination, sabotage, and rebellion shall be considered an affront to the country's democratic agenda and shall be meted with the relevant legal and political processes to ensure struggle discipline. We have heard timid whispers emanating from Holiday Inn in Bulawayo, wherein one Jacob Mafu mischievously makes pronouncements about the leadership of the CCC. We state categorically that the said pronouncements are now void and are not a representation of the collective wisdom and resolution of the Citizens' National Assembly. We wish to state that Mr. Mafume is not authorized to speak for and on behalf of the party. His obvious link with Sengezo Chabang and their lawful recalls has now been confirmed. His reference to a supposed link between the CCC and the leadership of the MTC Alliance is not only mischievous, but a confirmation that he has ceased to be a member of the Citizens Coalition for Change. Accordingly, any deployee or leader of the Citizens Coalition for Change who associates themselves with this mischief will automatically cease to be a member of the party, and the relevant political and legal consequences shall ensue. Saka vatimba ndo vari panyanga vachitungamirira CCC imwe chete. Zvekuti vana biti nana maikore vari muCCC kana havasi, ivo ndo vakazvipindira. And havai right yavo of association and disassociation.
I understand that by those fellows going around reaching supposed stakeholders and supporters. Are they doing it on behalf of CCC or Nelson Chamisa?
They are doing it on behalf of the democratic alternative in Zimbabwe. And we've said in the statement that there is no discohesion.
Right, I think let's recap on what we've said here so that there's no confusion. Promise Nkwananzi has announced that Timba is the president, is in charge in CCC, and Mafume's announcements are null and void. And he says the committee that was announced, which I showed you here, is the one that is in charge in parliament. He says Ostalos and Chibaya are working with the blessing of the CCC while awaiting Chamisa to make an announcement. And he said, the other thing he said is obviously that Anabiti, Nube and Kore, they can have to speak for themselves because they cannot speak for them. So that is the current position. But as I said to you, there are court processes and then there are letters. So the court process that is in place right now is there's an interdict on Chabangu to make any statements to Parliament, to Senate, and to councils. That interdict is provisional. There is a major court case which says, can Chabangu make all the things that is making, can he make those decisions? That is the main case. It has not been heard. Nelson Chamisa has presented an affidavit in that case, but because he has stepped down, very soon that court case, when it's heard, Chabangu is going to be given the permission to do what he's doing. So we now have three groups: the group with Sengozo Chabangu, the group with Mafume, and the group with Mkwanans. Then we've got the group with Ostalos and Chibaya, who are running DAS. Those are the four groups. And then we've got Nelson Chamisa, who is quiet. So everything is now more confused than before. There's bigger confusion now than before because no one wants to let go of the CCC. Even the group with the Anachibaya, they still want to be involved in the CCC. But everyone says Chamisa is the president. Out of all those four groups, each group is saying Chamisa is their president. Even Mafume this afternoon, he says Chamisa is his president. So that is where the confusion is. But currently, the person who is president officially in parliament is Nkwanans. Nkwanans wrote a letter to parliament where he declared himself as the president of the CCC and the official channel of communication. So the announcement that he's making is just political. But the person who can write to parliament right now is Nkwanans. I don't think they've withdrawn that letter. And obviously, there's a lot more that has happened behind the scenes. The people who know about the controversy with Nkwanans in CCC, they will tell you. But I won't mention it here. Those who know and who've been following, what's his name, Hopro, who obviously understand what I'm talking about. There is a controversy there, which explains why Nkwanan's letters were accepted in Parliament above any other letter. So let's go to the comments very quickly before I close here. Mkoma Douglas says, Gambako, you lie. Where is chaos? Are you supporting BT? I am not supporting BT. There were two press conferences. I'm explaining to you what happened at both. Yesterday, they appointed Ngube, BT, and Karenyi Kore as president. Today's press conference appointed Timba as president. In parliament, there's a letter that appoints Nkwanans as president. So there are three letters. There are three presidents right now. And that's not my making. It's been made by the people who are in CCC. Then let's look at other comments here very quickly. I want to look at someone new who has not commented here. DM says Chamisa is waiting for the good move in his part. The people there who is behaving. I don't think so. I don't think Chamisa is going to come back into party politics. So people don't understand. Chamisa is not coming back into party politics. He's not going to be a president of any of these parties. So if you're waiting for Chamisa to come to be a party president, you're mistaken. Chamisa is focusing on the presidents. That is my understanding. He's not going to form a party. He's not going to take any of these guys along. That is my understanding. Chamisa is going to form a movement. He's going to lead the movement, and he's going to focus on a presidential election. And he's not going to call any of these guys, because the same problems you're seeing now are just going to follow Chamisa. So the guys who are left in CCC, they must make it work. That's what I'm saying. They must make it work. They must organize themselves. They must have a congress. They must elect leadership, and have one CCC, because Chamisa is not coming. He's not coming back at all. And then let's see. Mkoma Adolf says Chamisa is in charge. No, Chamisa is not in charge of this party of CCC. Currently, we have 3 presidents. In fact, we've got 5 presidents: Mkwananzi, Timba, BT, Ngube, and Kareni Kore. Those are the people who are claiming leadership in this party. Then we've got Daz. Daz has got Ostalos and Chibaya. And if you look at Chamisa, he's never said anything about Daz. And most of the pictures that you are seeing are photoshopped. They're not blue. That blue that you're seeing there. So I want to give you the pictures I'm talking about. This picture here, this curtain you're seeing, it's actually not blue in the original picture. And if you look at some of the other photos that I've seen, most of them are photoshopped. So I'm now starting to think maybe it's not even Chamisa who is making up those pictures. So think about it. What color was this curtain before? I've seen other curtains which are light blue, and then suddenly they become dark blue. So it's a concern to me what is happening here. But these are not my opinions. I'm talking about what has happened today. Later on, we're going to have another video coming out. There was another interview with Mafume this afternoon, and we'll hear more about that. So there is confusion. There is massive confusion, and Chamisa needs to come out and speak if he wants to save the situation. But I don't think Chamisa is interested. I don't think he's coming back here. Most of the people who are talking and saying, talk to Chamisa, we did this to Chamisa, they are not telling the truth. It's not true that they're taking instructions from Chamisa. If you ask Mkwananzi when he last talked to Chamisa, I don't think he can give you an answer. And this is not to say these guys are lying. They're just trying their best. I've asked people yesterday. Someone says to me, I was talking to Chamisa, and they even show me a picture of a call. What did Chamisa say? They can't explain to me what Chamisa said. And as long as Chamisa hasn't spoken, we should take it as there is a problem somewhere in terms of what Chamisa can do and cannot do. I'm not saying he's missing. Remember, we've seen Chamisa now with the ambassadors last week. So Chamisa is there, but no one speaks for Chamisa. If you see someone speaking for Chamisa, then there's something wrong. Then Mkoma Mpinki is saying Mkwananzi is a sellout. In terms of what he's saying, I don't think it represents what Chamisa is saying. I don't think it's correct to say Chamisa is working with Timba. I don't think it's correct. I think Timba hasn't spoken to Chamisa for a very, very long time. Imagine if Chamisa was to be in CCC and then talking to Timba and then saying he's not in CCC. That would not make sense. So as far as I'm concerned, these guys are just trying their best. And what I would want to see is everyone coming together and having a congress, and then we elect the correct people. CCC must survive. It mustn't die, because that's the only opposing party. If CCC dies, you will never have a party with so many MPs, senators, and councillors again. ZANU-PF will just have 100%, and ED will be president until in 2040, not 2030. You have ED until 2040. So that is the situation. We have this press conference this afternoon. I'll come back in the evening to give you the press conference with Mafume. Mafume is saying some allegations there, which have already been alluded to here by Mkwananzi. But as far as I'm concerned, everyone needs to come out in the open. Someone needs to take charge of CCC, have a congress. It's not fair for the people who are there, for people to make decisions in private. So there must be now structures, and those structures must make decisions, not people that are just coming from nowhere. So that's the situation. And I think all of you now understand what I'm saying when I'm saying the CCC must not be allowed to die, but there must be structures. And Chamisa is not coming back. He's not coming back to party politics. The next time you see Chamisa, he's focusing on the presidency. He's going to be the president. he's going to be a presidential candidate with no one around him. So that is what I predict will happen. It will be stupid for Chamisa to leave and then come back again. So fix CCC. If you're a CCC member, demand that there's proper structures, demand a Congress, demand a leadership structure. You can't follow Chamisa without parliamentarians. You need parliamentarians. And so this needs to be sorted out. Thank you very much, everybody. And I'll be back in the evening